Are you a project manager, a business analyst, or management consulting and you're dealing with budget overruns? If you are, this video is for you because there is no such thing as a budget overrun. A budget overrun means that a planned piece of work has taken longer than expected to complete, and whatever amount of money you set aside for it, i.e. resource days times daily rate, or resource days times hours working times daily rate, hourly rate, you have now exceeded. And here's how you avoid it, and then I'll say here's how you recover. Firstly, how do you avoid it? Every time that there's a risk that an activity is going to complete late, you actually have to be raising a risk for said assumed or forecast delay. You must raise the risk, and then you actually need to work and mitigate it. So for example, if there's a risk that the design deliverable is going to require a bit more customer feedback to finish, then you need to say there's a risk that the customer won't meet the review period window, or there's a risk that our team, the design team, isn't going to be able to respond to the feedback in the allotted window, and if this happens, additional time will be required. And then if that risk doesn't get fully mitigated, because let's say that you agree to work extra hours, you agree to work weekends, or perhaps there is no mitigation and you simply have to accept that you're converting a risk into an issue, you then have to manage that issue. And the way that the issue would be managed is to say, now that the design deliverable is delayed in that example, we need an extra week or so, and then there's a cost component. Sometimes you want to raise a change request before that impact happens. Sometimes you want to raise it afterward because you have to formally shift the schedule by whatever the time impact is. All right. So that's how you kind of get yourself out of it, because what that's going to do is you're going to have the risk that something might happen happens. You then have the issue that reflects that concern you had did in fact materialize, and now you need to shift the project plan along. All right, so business analysts, PMs, and consultants, that's what you should be doing for any risk, anything that's going to be a budget overrun. Once you have an overrun, you now need to be escalating that. Firstly, anything that you can do within your power. If you're a project manager or a consultant and you have a degree of contingency up your sleeve, by all means deploy it. That's one way of resolving things. Not everything is recoverable, so it may be that you have to go into governance and raise the fact that these changes are going to happen, and either more time doesn't always mean more money. It usually does, but that's something for you to be aware of. And then ultimately you want people to be cognizant of the impacts, because no surprises is what we like to say. That's a bit of an overview on budget overruns, how to avoid them going forward, and then how to deal with them when they come up. Good luck.